Today we want to look at the RMackdown. How to do your documentation using the R software. In R Studio, I already have my document here, but I want to take you through the steps. If I go to File, then I go to New File, then I have many options that I'll pick, but I'll be interested in RMackdown. So I'll click on RMackdown. And once it opens, it gives me the options to put the title of my document, the name of the author, the date, or I can allow it to use a system date, and then I'll select the output that I would want. Is it a HTML if I want to move my work directly to a website? Is it a PDF? You must have MikTeX in the system that you're using, or do you want a Word document? So since I already set up one, I'll cancel, but if you had not set, you would have said okay. So after that, I'll get some details as indicated there, and then this is a default that comes about all setup include is equals to false. The neat all is the package OPTS chunk, and set echo is equals to true. I'll mention a little bit more about that. Now, this line 8 to 10 with the 3 dots here and these 3 is called a chunk, C-H-U-N-K. And I'll show you how to put up a chunk as you work. And the first thing we want to look at is basics in R. This is an introduction to R. We start with the basics of R in this section. And for me to introduce a chunk, and what is the purpose of a chunk? Whatever you put in the chunk is that will be executed by the R software. So it will be assumed to be a R code. Anything else you write out of the chunk is taken to be a normal statement. So we introduce a chunk, Control Alt I. If you Control Alt I in a RMackdown document, you get a chunk, you get something like this. So for example, if I wanted to introduce a chunk there, Control Alt I, I'll get that as a chunk. But since I already have chunks, I will not keep that. I'll move on with what I had. And I can rename from R to R basics. First of all, I want to generate numbers from 1 to 50 in a difference of 2. If I do that, you can see down here I have 1, 3, 5, and the last number is 49 because it should stop. I can get the square root of those numbers. I can get the square of them. I can also create a matrix which is appearing there. It's 1, 3, 5, 0. That's a matrix. I can create factors from gender as male and female, and I have them there. And it tells me the levels are female and male. So those are some of the basics. So everything inside the chunk will be executed by the system. Anything you write on the white spaces, then it will not be. The next thing we want to look at some of the data sets and packages in R. We have a number of data sets for use in R. So many of them. The Star Wars, which comes with the deploy package. We have the datasets that comes with the R base. We have the ML bench package, contains so many datasets, Boston housing, Pima Indians, diabetes, etc. So because number 3 is a package, you have to install it, and then you'll be able to view that data. We'll use a few of them as we move along, and the list is endless. So one of the package you want to install, the deploy package, the tidyverse, and the ML bench packages. One of the datasets we can easily pull is the IRIS dataset from the R base, and then we can also get the Star Wars, which is a called Star 1 from the deploy package. The DPLYR with the 2 colons, it means what is on the left is the package and what's on the right hand side is your data set. So based on that, we can do just some basic manipulation like data cleaning. And for us to be able to do that, and then we can look at these three. So what we need to do is I need to read the packages because they are already installed. I can control enter through all of them, and I have them. I can view the data just to for illustration purposes. I list one, and I'll get my data there. It has 5 columns: sepal length, wing, petal length, and wings, and then the species. I can also view the star one data so that we see what type of data we are talking about. And that is the data that we have. We can see already there are some NAs in the hair color, and the birth year there is NA, not a number, that you need to be removed during data cleaning process. So at this point, we want now to take that data, the Star Wars data, and I want to tell it to omit anything, NA.omit. It will remove all the values that are not. So for example, if I now view star one clean, you see it is so leave for that, and view. It will show me it has already, if I compare this, like the hair color, second and third entries, and number 8 are NA, and there you look, they have been removed. So what it does, it will remove the whole of number 2 from here to the end, number 3, and it's not normally the best way of cleaning the data, but what I wanted to illustrate is how you can remove NAs easily. So you find in the clean data, the NAs are no longer there. So now I want to do some basic tidyverse manipulations of the deep layer. So I can select 3 columns, and I can tell it to give me a summary of the 3: sex, gender, and height. I can see clearly that height is a numerical data. I said here select sex, gender, and height, and we see that our data has, there is sex, there is gender, there is height there. And when you see sex and gender, it says they are character, but in real sense they shouldn't be characters because male is female, male, and none for sex, meaning they are categories. So this should be factor. The same with gender, masculine and feminine, it should also be factor. So we'll look at how to convert that. So I bring in the tidy all. I can also use the drop.na to clean up my data, and the tidy all package contains the drop na function that can also do the same work that we have done. And you can check the classes of the data. The height is an integer, and clearly the other two, the sex and the gender, are character. So I want now to convert that. I use a mutate if. If the data, the column, sex, and gender is character, convert it as factor. And if the column height is integer, make it numeric. So if I did that, and I come and say summary here of class height, it will tell me that it's numeric. Even if I was to say class, then I say star 2, then I put in sex, it tells me a factor. Now what's the difference? Star 1, the data we call star 1, you see that it will tell me sex is a character, but now I've converted it into a factor using this simple command of mutate if. Then I can also change, if you look at our data like sex, the M is small, the F is small, and so I can make them capital letters using mutate at, and this is the function that I'll do in number 3, and then I'm going to rename. It says I could not find the function CG. Okay, it's a C, not a CG, so sorry for that. So it talks about being depreciated, but that's not a problem. So let's view star 3. You can see now my sex X, the column name is in capital, the first letter, title case, and then the variables that I have here, male, female, they are it's capital M and capital F. So that's what I would have done using mutate add. And then I want to briefly look at some basic statistics, descriptive statistics, mean, mode, and so forth. And I will still want to use the data start that I cleaned. If I click there and there, one, if I check through the sex, I have 6 female and 23 male. If I look at gender and height, it compares the gender and the height, how many are in each height in the given data. That is something else that we could do. Or I could decide to select sex and height, and then I group by sex. And I want to count how many will appear and convert that into percentages. And if I check that down here, DESC1, it tells me that 6 are female, 23 are male, and out of all that, I see that is 21%, 6, 21%, and 23 is 79%. Why are we rounding it off? Because I don't want many decimal points. I want it to give me full numbers. So I'm saying group by, then summarize frequency. So this column here, frequency in the console is freq is equals to n, and then PNCT is percent. You want to get the frequency, divide by the sum times and it to 1. You round it off to 1. I can plot that graph of the same information, and that's what we have. It's the only 2 dots for the female at 21, and then for the male at 79. And that's what we are saying here. I say take the data DESC1 as that x-axis should be sex, y-axis P and CT, which is the percentage. Use the geom point as that size is equals the percentage, and the color should be blue. And then you put a legend on your right hand side. Label the x-axis as sex, the y-axis as percentage, and then the GG title is the number of male and female. And if you plot that, that's what you'll get, their number of male and female as it is illustrated there. It's always good when you are doing RMackdown. It gives you the option to discuss your work, and that is some basic description I've given there. I could as well have decided to use the same data and plot a bar graph, the DESC1 data. The difference is now I'm called not a geom point, but it's geom bar. And I also said the geom text should be the percentage. So what's the difference with that and the previous one? Let's see where the difference comes in. Now it shows the percentage for the male and also for the female at 21, and it's a bar graph. And we have the legend, the sex, we have the female and the male. The y-axis is the percent. The label is given there, and so forth and so on. So that's what you can do to give yourself a plot or a visualization that you'll be happy with. You remember, you are doing everything here. So when you are going to need the document, which I'm going to show you in a while, then you'll be able to view your full document. We could do some little bit more descriptive statistics using the high-risk dataset. I'm calling it, I want to use the neat all, and the purpose is now I want it to select 2 columns, sepal length, petal length, and petal wing, then the species, you group by species, and you summarize. If it's numeric, you give me a mean. So I'm saying summarize if is numeric. If my 2 columns are numeric, then it will give me the mean. After it's done, it gives me an output of a table using the cabo function, and this is what you get. So it gives me there the setosa. This is the IDs dataset. You can explore it a little bit more because it's part of your R base, and it tells from there. It tells me the species with the biggest petal length and the biggest petal width than the one with the smallest. Just basically getting the mean. I could also do a small plot using the Q plot, not the GG plot this time, just to have a feel of difference. And you can already see, even from this illustration and the mean value that we found, it's very clear, evidently. The pinkish ones are the setosa, the green ones are the vesicala, and the blue one are the virginica. And that is the same information we were getting when we looked at the mean values. Let me go through to it again, and you'll be able to see that's exact information that is being. So I'm representing the information basically using graphs and also using values, and then I can do some discussions from them. I could also have decided to get the standard deviation, just saying SD, and then I output them. These are the standard deviation, and it's possible for them to combine them together, but we can look at that in another video. So these ones you are able to get also. So the purpose of the cabo is to give you the results in a table format. They come with different formats. One of them is pipe, other one is simple, and so forth. There are so many different formats. If you are not too sure which one to use, you can come, if you put a question mark here and say cabo, then on your right hand side it will give you some of the other formats that exist that you can use. A little bit more on other ways of visualization or data visualization without using the ggplot. You can use the standard, I say hist. So I want to get the histogram for the IDs dataset for the sample length, and if I do that, it will give me some output here, and that is my output using an histogram for the same. And I can say the X lab is the sample length, the main is the histogram. I can also do a bar plot of the same data set. That's the bar plot using the three species. They are all 50-50 because that's how big your sample size was. I could do a box plot compared to length and the species. And what do I have? I have something similar to this. And definitely you can change the color and so on and so forth. I can also do a normal plot of two continuous values, sample length and sample width, and that is the graph that you get. You can come in and think about how to introduce the color. I think I could easily say color is equals to blue. I guess so. For example, I prefer blue. Can use any other color. The color is not picked. Maybe I'll need to confirm the command for that. So having said that, then you can now, if your document is working, you can either click neat here, yes, and you can specify. You have already specified initially. At the beginning, I'll show you where you specified what you want the output. Output should be a Word document, but still neat allows you to choose. You could have specified Word, but you wanted HTML. I go with Word, and then I'll show you the output. So now we want to look at the document that you have been working on. And so when I output my document in Word format, I'll get a document similar to this. You can add some more information because this is a Word document, so you can easily type. You can decide to go back and remove some of the sections that you are not happy with. So I've been able to come up with a document of 10 pages. You can resize some of these images. You can go back and edit so that when you need again, they come out in a more better fashion than they appear. This was the cabo. That's how the table would appear. This was the histogram. This was the box plot. This was the different bar graph we had, and then this was the normal plot, which is a scatter plot. I didn't give any description. You can put up your story so that you are able to explain what your results mean to the person who will be looking at your document. So all these are at your disposal. It's you to decide how you want them to appear, and I think that gives you an idea of what is required when it comes to using the RMackdown, introducing the chunk and then being able to do your work. I hope you've enjoyed the videos. Please do subscribe and continue to watch.